It was Friday night. The air was thick with the smell of fallen leaves and mischief. We stood outside the rusted gates of Crestwood High. The abandoned school loomed over us, dark and menacing. My best friends, Tommy and Emily, shivered beside me. We were about to do something incredibly stupid.
You sure about this, Tommy?
This place is crawling with rats and ghosts.
Come on, guys. Don't be scared. It's just an old school.
But even I couldn't ignore the shiver that ran down my spine as we slipped through the broken gate. This was it. Dare night. Every year, seniors dared each other to spend an hour alone inside the abandoned Crestwood High. Nobody had ever lasted the whole time. Tonight, it was our turn. The heavy front doors creaked open with a groan. Dust motes danced in the pale moonlight filtering through grimy windows. The air inside was stale and cold, heavy with the silence of decades. It felt like we were stepping into a tomb. We walked down the echoing hallway, our footsteps loud in the stillness. The walls were covered in faded posters and peeling paint. Cobwebs hung from every corner, and the only light came from the moon shining through broken windows.
This place is creepy.
Her hand clutching my arm, her grip tightened as we passed a row of lockers, their doors hanging open like empty mouths. I tried to ignore the goosebumps that were erupting all over my skin.
It's just an old school, Em. Relax.
But even I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. We reached the old library. The door creaked open, revealing rows of dusty bookshelves and tables piled high with forgotten papers. Moonlight cast long, eerie shadows across the room. We decided to split up. Tommy wandered off to the far corner, disappearing behind a towering bookshelf. Emily stayed close to me, her eyes darting nervously around the room. The silence was broken by a faint scratching sound. It seemed to be coming from the back of the library, near the old card catalogue.
Did you hear that?
I strained my ears, listening intently. The scratching came again, followed by a soft rustling sound. And then I heard it, a whisper, faint and indistinct, but definitely there. Someone was watching us. I cautiously made my way towards the sound, Emily trailing behind me. The whispering grew louder as we approached a row of old lockers. They were dented and rusted, their paint peeling off in strips. I stopped in front of one locker. It was slightly ajar, and the whispering seemed to be coming from inside.
Hello?
The whispering stopped abruptly. Emily gasped and clutched my arm.
Jake, let's just go. This is freaking me out.
But I was too curious to leave. I slowly reached for the locker door, my hand shaking. As my fingers brushed against the cold metal, the whispering started again, louder this time and filled with a chilling urgency. I had to know what was inside.
It turned slowly, its face hidden in the shadows, an ominous presence that sent chills down my spine. A cold dread washed over me, freezing me in place as my heart pounded in my chest. Whatever this thing was, it was not human. Its movements were unnatural, almost otherworldly. Emily whimpered beside me, her eyes wide with terror. We were trapped, with no escape in sight. Suddenly, the figure lurched towards us, its hand outstretched, its fingers long and skeletal, like something from a nightmare. Emily screamed and we turned to run, but it was too late. The figure was faster than we anticipated. The figure was upon us, its presence overwhelming and suffocating. I felt a sharp pain in my arm as the figure grabbed me, its grip like a vice, unyielding and cold. I struggled to break free, but it was too strong. My efforts seemed futile against its inhuman strength. It dragged me towards the edge of the stage, my feet scraping against the floor as I tried to resist.
Jake! Emily screamed, her voice filled with desperation and fear. I saw her lunge for me, but the figure flung her aside like a rag doll, her body hitting the ground with a thud.
I was dangling over the edge of the stage now, the hard floor a dizzying drop below, my head spinning with fear. The figure leaned close, its face just inches from mine, its breath hot and foul. I could smell the dust and decay in its breath, a scent that made me gag. And then, I saw its eyes glowing with a sinister light. They were glowing, a malevolent red like burning coals filled with an ancient evil. And then, everything went black. The darkness swallowed me whole. When I woke up, I was lying in a hospital bed, the sterile smell of antiseptic filling the air. Emily was asleep in a chair beside me, her face pale and drawn. dark circles under her eyes showing her exhaustion. My arm throbbed where the figure had grabbed me, the pain a constant reminder. Tommy was gone. The police questioned us for hours, their faces stern and unyielding, but we couldn't explain what had happened. They didn't believe us about the figure, about the whispers, about the feeling that something evil haunted Crestwood High. They thought we were making it up. But I knew the truth, deep down in my bones. And I knew that Tommy was gone because of me, because of my reckless actions, because of my stupid dare. Weeks turned into months, each day heavier than the last. The police gave up on finding Tommy, their search efforts dwindling until they stopped completely. They said he had run away, that he was probably hiding out with friends. But I knew better. I knew the truth they refused to see. I knew he was gone, taken from us forever, taken by whatever evil lurked in the shadows of Crestwood High, an evil that still haunted my dreams. I never went back to that school, the memories too painful to face. But sometimes, late at night, I would wake from nightmares. The image of those glowing red eyes burned into my mind, a vision I couldn't escape. And I would hear the whispers again, faint and haunting, faint and indistinct, but always there, lurking in the corners of my mind. A constant reminder of the night Tommy disappeared, a night that changed everything, a night I would never forget, a night that would haunt me forever. Years later, Crestwood High still stands, a crumbling reminder of that terrible night. The walls, once echoing with laughter, now only whisper secrets of the past. It's a local legend now, the story of the haunted school and the boy who vanished without a trace. But for me, it's more than just a story. It's a part of my life that I can never escape. It's a nightmare that continues to haunt me day and night. A few years ago, I went back to that place. I had to. I don't know why. Maybe it was a sense of unfinished business. Maybe I was looking for answers that had eluded me for so long. Maybe I was looking for closure, a way to finally put the past behind me. Or maybe I was just drawn back to the place where it all began, unable to resist its pull. The school was just as I remembered it. Dark, silent, menacing. It felt like stepping back in time. I stood outside the rusty gates, the wind whipping my hair around my face, carrying with it the scent of decay. The setting sun cast long, eerie shadows across the overgrown lawn, making the place look even more sinister. And then I heard it. A whisper, soft, almost imperceptible, coming from inside the school, echoing through the empty halls. I knew I should turn back. Every instinct screamed at me to leave. I knew it was dangerous. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding. But something compelled me forward, an invisible force I couldn't resist. I took a deep breath and stepped through the broken gate, my heart pounding in my chest. I never found out what happened to Tommy. His disappearance remains a mystery, but I know he's still out there, somewhere, lost in the shadows, trapped in that dark and terrible place, unable to escape. And sometimes I think I hear him calling my name, a faint, desperate cry that chills me to the bone.